So this data set's different than the data set we are using in our assessment this week. You're using the heart rate data set, but it gets the job done without giving away the answers. Um, our goal is to create graphs that are appropriate for the data that we're trying to display. So the basic idea is that if you have a categorical variable, you should be using either a bar graph or a pie chart. And in some situations, a bar graph is better than a pie chart. Okay, so if it's categorical, those are your two options. If it's quantitative, then you should be using like a histogram or a box plot. Okay, not a line graph in this data set because time isn't a variable in the data set you're using. And there's other options too, but if you just want to keep it simple, there's two options for the categories, the pie chart and the bar graph. There's two options for quantitative, which is numerical variables, the histogram or the box plot. Do not use a line graph unless time is a variable. You know, like if you're dealing with a column of data like this, then you could make a line graph because time is one of the variables. The line graphs are time sensitive graphics. So, okay, now I've said that probably 1,000 times, you're probably sick of it. So this is a categorical variable. It looks like urban and rural are the only options. So if I'm going to, so it probably should be easy enough so that you were to select the data, the entire data, go up here to click insert, pie chart, and then you'd see it automatically categorizes it, but you see it's doing something weird. You'll have the same thing happen with your heart rate data set if you just try to put the zeros and ones directly into a pie chart. So instead, here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn mine into zeros and ones just like our data set is for our assignment. See, you don't have to do this. Okay, so I got them as zeros and ones. And then what you want to do off to the side in your Excel sheet is add up all the numbers. And I want to sum up from D2. Here's something easier. Type in equals sum, open that parentheses, and then click and drag all the numbers you want to add up. Because if we add this up, this is counting up how many ones are in our data set, right? Okay, so I've clicked and dragged. And then I'm going to close the parentheses. And there, I've added up all the numbers in the data set. So there's 405 urban homes in my data set. And then what? Here, I'll label that too. Urban homes. Urban. Okay. And then rural homes, we don't have to sum up all the zeros. We can just use the fact that here it starts on cell 2, on row 2, I should say. And then it ends on row 501. So there's 501 subtracted by 2 plus 1. There's 500 pieces of data here. So that means 95 of the homes are rural. Okay? So you need to be able to count up the number of males and the number of females in a similar way. Okay? Count up them and write it out like this with your labels to the left and the numbers to the right. And then if you click and drag your data, click pie chart, it makes the pie chart for you. And look, it's already got it labeled. You just have to change the title. Awesome. Title and then labeling. We usually like to see the percentages if we can. Add data labels. There we go. So that adds the numbers. Here we can change that to percentages. I think there's a way to do it so Excel automatically does it, but I don't remember. You can calculate the percentages manually. Look, there's 500 pieces of data, right? So to find out the percentage that's urban, I'm going to take the number of urban, divide by 500, and then multiply by 100 to convert it to a percentage. So there's 81% of the data is urban, and that means the remaining 19% is rural. You'll be doing something really similar with yours. Okay? Okay, there's our pie chart. That's what you got to do. You could use a bar graph if you want there. I think that should be as easy as selecting it, the entire column, and doing insert. That's a histogram, sorry. This is the bar graph up here. No, that doesn't work. I think you got to do it. You still have to have the data set like over here. If we highlight that summary that we made off to the side, then we get our bar graph. Okay, so either one is fine. If you're doing the pie chart, you should include the percentages though. Okay, and then we said if it's quantitative, which means a numerical variable, then we should be using a histogram or a box plot. So if you click the entire data set, you'll see there's no problems just going straight to insert, and then the histogram's this button right here, and then boom, there's our histogram. It looks right. Okay, there's a few outliers which makes it look so skewed, but that's our histogram, and then you could label it accordingly. The other option there is a box plot. If you have a quantitative variable, which means a numerical variable, if you click histogram, you'll see for some reason the box plot is under the histogram there. I don't know why they just don't have their own button. There's our box plot for my data set. And then you'd want to change the labeling. Okay, so I think that's the basics of what you have to do. Make sure to answer any other prompts, but I know the Excel part is the hardest part for students with that the qualitative part, so I've just got that all labeled for you. So I hope that helps. Let me go check in with the types of questions you're working on this week and realize it.